Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, I am going to tell you about all of my reading goals for 2026 and not all of them, but a lot of my most anticipated reads for the new year. So let's just go ahead and get into it. This video is definitely gonna be a bit of a chatty one, so fair warning. I guess I want to start off by saying that my reading goal for 2026 is 50 books. I know for a lot of people in like this space on the internet, that's not a lot, but I just got into reading like this past year and I read 21 books in 2025. So you know what? I feel like I was really shooting for the stars with that one. I mean, if I read less than this, whatever, if I only read a couple books, whatever happens, happens. I also decided to organize I use the Goodreads app, but then I also found a really amazing template on Notion. I've been using Notion recently, probably like the past month and a half, and I found this really cool template. I think I literally searched up reading, and one of the templates that was a free one you could choose that somebody else made was called Your Library, and it is amazing. I love everything with it. So I'm gonna use that as well as Goodreads to track everything, because the Notion is just like in a lot more detail. And then I also know that I do really want to get a reading journal and actually like write down my thoughts on all the books I read, because when I had filmed my wrap-up video, I feel like I couldn't remember my thoughts about a lot of books. Even if I didn't like the book, I still want to remember like how I felt about it in the moment and kind of like what it was about briefly. So I do want to make sure, like, a goal this year is to really definitely keep track of that more. And the next thing that I want to talk about is my TBR for 2026. I'm not going to give myself, like, I already made the reading goal and everything, but I have about 4 series that I really would like to read. And then I have some other books that I also really want to read for this year that are like on the goals list. It's not a lot. It's like 4 series and then 6 books. So hopefully I can get to all these, but this would be like my yearly 2026 like TBR. I want to read these this year. Let's go ahead and just talk about the series first. I'm not gonna like really go into much detail. I just wanted to put this out there. The first one is I really want to finish the Magnolia Park series. I read the first one, but I haven't read the rest of them. I've been kind of like picky on it because I really want to order like the UK prints. I really don't like the US copies, so I just kind of need to like bite the bullet, order the UK prints, and I really want to finish that series this year. I also have, as another like big goal, is A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I still have not read a fantasy book, and so that's a reading goal of mine this year, is to get into fantasy and some other like genres that I've not really like dove into yet, but that's a big one. I also really want to read the Rose Hill series. I have all the Elsie Silver books. I just got the 4th one for Christmas, and so I have them all, so I just need to read them. And then the last series is, I recently started watching Game of Thrones, and Lord, I wish I would have read the books first. I'm on season 4 of the show right now. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I honestly never thought I would really get into it. That's why I never watched it. And I was just like, you know what? Let me try it. It's amazing. But I actually was talking to my friend who's watched the show and read the books, and she said that it was easier for her to almost read the books after the fact, because there's so many characters. Like, if you watch the show, if you read the books, like, there's so many characters that it's easier to like tie these people together and it's not as confusing. But I would really like to read those just because I've been super into the show. Now, just for like regular books that I really want to read that have been on my TBR since I started reading, or books that I just like have and I've been holding off on, or books that I think about all the time that I just really need to read. The first one, this one, I have Beach Read on my list because I really have yet to read that book, and I just need to know. It's one of those books where it's like, if you know, you know, and most people do and I don't, so I really want to read it. The next one, I would really like to read a Jane Austen book this year. I don't know which one. I would just like to read one of them. This book is another one that I think about a lot, and I've been wanting to read so bad. Even before I got into reading, I really wanted to read it. Ever since it came out, I really want to read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. It would be like my first memoir, and yeah, I really want to read The Secret History. I've had this book for a long time. It's been on my TBR, and my brother's read it, and he really, really loved it. And yeah, I don't know. I just really wanted to read that. The next book is Billy Summers by Stephen King. I've never read a Stephen King book, and I've never read a horror book, so I think that would be interesting to at least try it out. And the last book that's going to be on my TBR for 2026 is Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. And basically the main reason this is on here is because it's definitely, I have it on my shelves, and it's an intimidating book. Like, she's thick. And Jonathan Franzen books can be mentally taxing. And I mean, enough said there. But I read Freedom by him, and I really enjoyed it. And so I think it would be nice to delve into another novel that really makes me think about connections and relationship in a deeper way than maybe some other books don't. So yeah. The next segment of this video, and the main part, is going to be all of my anticipated reads for 2026. This is definitely not all of them. These are just a bunch of books coming out. Basically, I just went on Goodreads, looked at their list of all the books coming out this year, and I wrote down the ones that looked really interesting to me, and basically we're just gonna like read the description together and tell you my anticipated reads for the year. The first one is Just Friends by Haley Pham. I honestly I mean, if she was coming out with a graphic novel, I would read it, because I have watched her for years now, since even before she went viral, before she did like her shaving versus waxing videos that like made her go really viral. I was watching her before then. So I've watched her for a really long time now. And then kind of like to see her journey in life and everything that she's done. And now the fact that she's coming out with a book. I mean, no matter what, I respect it. I know there's a lot of controversy online about it. And a lot of people, I feel like, you're being extremely harsh or opinionated just because she's a YouTuber. Mainly she's a booktuber. So people have a lot of feelings about that. And I mean, either way, you have to respect her for doing it. So that is, of course, on my list. I already ordered it a few months ago. Blair and Declan were inseparable growing up, best friends who knew each other better than anyone else. When an impulsive kiss took them from friends to something more, everything changed. Just as quickly as their romance started, one moment shattered it all, leaving them with nothing but heartbreak and silence. Now, 4 years later, Blair is back in their coastal hometown of Seabrook to support her mom and care for her great aunt, Lottie, as her health declines. To make ends meet, Blair applies to work at a coffee shop, only to discover it's managed by none other than Declan. We love a second chance. The boy she loved, the boy she lost, the boy who still makes her heart race. As Blair's path keeps crossing with Declan's, old wounds resurface, secrets are revealed, and sparks reignite. But could their future ever be free of their past? Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. That's awesome. The next one is Where the Wildflowers Grow by Tara Shelton Harris. The description of this book is: Lee is the last of the Wilders. She knows this because she watched them all die. Grief never truly fades, and even as the tragedy haunts her, Lee carries on because survival is in her blood. So when the transport bus taking her to prison careens off the road, killing everyone on board except her, she does what's in her nature. She survives. Okay, I did not read the description. I think I just like the cover of this one. Oh my gosh, this is taking turns. While searching for a place to hide, Lee stumbles upon an unexpected sanctuary, a flower farm in rural Alabama, tucked away from the world. What Lee doesn't expect is the found family there who have built something from the wreckage of their own lives. Wow. I think I really just put this one on there based on the cover, but definitely sounds deep. The next one is Keeper of Lost Children, and it says, Ethel Gathers, the proud wife of an American officer, is living in occupied Germany in the 1950s After discovering a local orphanage filled with the abandoned mixed-race children of German women and Black American GIs, Ethel feels compelled to help find these children's homes. The next book is, and I have not heard about this at all, and I was like, wow, can't believe I haven't heard about this yet. This book is Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy, and this one is a novel by her. And when I read the description, I was like, wow, this like seems like something I would enjoy reading. It says Waldo is ravenous, horny, blunt, naive, wise, impulsive, lonely, angry, forceful, hurting, perceptive, endlessly wanting. And the thing she wants most of all, Mr. Corgi, I think that's how you say it, Mr. Corgi, her creative writing teacher, with the wife and kids and the mortgage and the bills, with the dead dreams. Know why she wants him. Is it his passion, his life experience, the fact that he knows books and films and things that she doesn't? Or is it purer than that? Rooted in their unlikely connection, their kindred spirits, the similar filter with which they each take in the world around them, or perhaps it's just enough that he sees her when no one else does. So that looks really interesting. I can't believe that I haven't seen as much online about this. The next book is Love by the Book, and this is by Jessica George. It says, Remy is lucky. Oh my God. I literally started reading the description and I thought it was like giving a little blurb about the author. All right. It says, Remy is lucky. Her debut novel, based on her three best friends, became an instant bestseller when it was released, and her agent and publisher are clamoring for a follow-up. But just as Remy's creative inspiration seems to leave her, so do her best friends. One moves to New York, one gets pregnant, and one gets back together with her awful boyfriend. After an ill-advised one-night stand complicates matters further, Remy is left deeply alone and unable to find her next book idea. Oh, this is a dual perspective. It says Simone is successful, a kindergarten teacher with a passion for... Like this, I feel like I am being put on the spot in class. So I'm like literally skipping over words, being jumbled, and just sounding really strange when I'm reading these descriptions. I'm sorry, but I literally feel like I'm on the spot, and the teacher just called me during like the popcorn reading. So I apologize. Anyway, it says Simone is successful, a kindergarten teacher with a passion for kids and a well-paying side hustle that affords her all the material comfort she desires. She doesn't have time for a robust social life. All Simone needs is her close-knit family. But after the true nature of her work is revealed, they cut her off and she realizes for the first time just how isolated she is. Okay. You know, I want to know more about what's going on there. This next book, when I read the like a brief little blip of the description and then what I'm about to tell you, literally just like make sure you're not taking a drink of water, hold on to your pants, because this just sounds insane. I'm like, this is just a wow factor for me that I put this on there, because I'm just like, what is going on? What did you just say? What? It's called Enormous Wings by Lori Frankel. This is just insane. All right, are you ready? At 77, Pepper Mills is too old to be a stranger in a strange land. She didn't choose the Vista View retirement community of Austin, Texas. That would be her 3 grown children. But when she grudgingly moves in, she not only makes a new friend, she falls in love. Then the exhaustion, vomiting, and confusion start. She fears it's cancer, dementia, a stroke. But a raft of tests later, the news is even more shocking. She's pregnant. I have so many questions that I fear will only be answered if I read this book. Because what do you mean? 77? Like, I knew there's like a couple women that have done something like that, but 77? What? Next book is My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. This is a thriller. And it says, Eden Fox, an artist on the brink of her big break, sets off for a run before her first expedition. When she returns to the home she recently moved into, Spyglass, an enchanting old house in Hope Falls, nothing is as it should be. Her key doesn't fit. A woman eerily similar to her answers the door, and her husband insists that the stranger is his wife. Girl, what? one house, one husband, two women, someone is lying. And the next one is The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark. This description says 6 authors, 1 private island, 72 hours to write the ending that will change their lives. Says Arthur Fletch, one of the world's best-selling novelists, is a reclusive genius known for his iconic protagonists. When 6 struggling authors are invited to spend a weekend on his private Scottish island, they arrive to discover a shocking secret. Arthur Fletcher is dead, and his last book is unfinished. Dun dun dun. Desperate to publish the novel, Fletcher's agent and editor have summoned these writers in the hope that one of them will imagine a worthy ending for this final book. To sweeten the deal, they're offering an irresistible prize in addition to ghostwriting the last chapter for a mind-boggling sum. They will also help the lucky writer successfully relaunch their own career, guaranteeing future bestsellers. The catch, the writers have just 72 hours to finish Fletch's magnum opus. The next one is The Astral Library by Kate Quinn. It says, Alex Watson has learned one lesson from her barren childhood in the foster care system. Unlike people, books will never let you down. Working 3 dead-end jobs to make ends meet and knowing college is a pipe dream, Alex takes nightly refuge in the high-vaulted reading room at the Boston Public Library, escaping into her favorite fantasy novels and dreaming of far-off lands, until the day she stumbles through a hidden door and meets the librarian. The ageless guardian of a hidden library where the desperate and the lost escape to new lives inside their favorite books. That just seems really cute and like magical. The next one is called The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. Sorry, I'm losing feeling in my lower half of my body. This is a long description. I'm just going to read the sentence that they put in bold. It just says, a devastating love story, bewitching twist on history, a blood-drenched hunt for purpose, power, and redemption. And it's set in 1785 from the perspective of a professor. The next book doesn't even have, I'm not even going to be able to insert a photo of it yet because there is no, they haven't come out, or she hasn't come out with the cover at all yet, but it's called The Exit Party by Emily St. John Mandel. And this says, on Goodreads, it said there was no description yet, but I found it on Amazon. This one says Los Angeles 2031, so this one's set in the future. The first spring after the collapse of the United States, peacekeeping troops withdraw from the city. Ari Waker and her roommate pass the gauntlet of bomb-sniffing dogs, the shanty towns, and the Red Cross tents as they walk across Silver Lake to a party. The mood is ecstatic inside the apartment. People drink and dance. A woman wears a silver dress, pleated like tinfoil, and then a shift. A bewildered twin, an uncanny doppelganger, stumbles through the crowd and out into the light, and Kareem, the party's host, vanishes into thin air. As Ari unravels the mystery of this inexplicable night, girl, read properly. What the fuck? I literally feel like I'm on the spot. As Ari Waker unravels the mystery of this inexplicable night, Emily St. John Mandel okay, so I don't even need to read that part. Yeah, this seems like a little mystery thriller. It's set for the future, so we'll see how that does for my brain. Because honestly, reading that description is kind of making me a little scared. This was definitely the mystery thriller. This book I honestly just added because the cover looks really cool. And it sounds interesting. I mean, I don't read much horror. I haven't even attempted to read a horror book. I've just read thriller and mystery. But that is something I would like to try and delve into this year. This book is called Nothing Tastes as Good. And the description states, retail worker Emmett Truesdale has never fit. Why do I pause? I need to read all these descriptions and then read them, because reading them for the first time, I think is what's tripping me up. But I'm like, can't even breathe. Get it together, sister. Retail worker Emmett has never fit the Southern California mold of six-pack, suntanned masculinity. Over 300 pounds, he carries the weight of his childhood trauma and millennial around his waist and in his soul. After trying every diet under the sun, he remains stuck in his dead-end job, in love, and in his body. Desperate for help, he enrolls in a clinical trial for a new weight loss product called Obexity. The treatment is as horrifying as the results are miraculous. As Emmett sheds pounds at superhuman speed, every part of his life improves overnight. Unfortunately, Obexity comes with some killer side effects, including lost stretches of time and overwhelming cravings. Worse, people who were cruel to him have started disappearing. When the police warn of a cannibalistic killer on the loose, he fears that Obexity is turning him into a monster. But how can he give it up now that people are finally starting to treat him like he's human? That honestly sounds kind of good, but the cover it looked really cool, but that does actually sound really good. The next book is And Now Back to You. This is by B.K. Borison. The description for that one just says, Jackson Clark and Delilah Stewart have had their fair share of run-ins over the years, often ending in disaster. While Jackson thrives on routine and organization from the comfort of his radio booth, Delilah loves the spontaneity and adventure out in the field. When they're partnered against their will to cover a historic snowstorm, they find themselves scrambling to figure out how to work together. This is the, not enemies to lover, but opposites attract. When Harry Met Sally. The next book is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. I've only read one of her other books. Why does this say book 2 of Say You'll Remember Me? Book I've read by her, I did not enjoy. The next book is Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. This book says Frankie and George have been best friends since they were 8 years old, both passionate, impulsive, and headstrong. They've always clashed and come back together. Until now, it's the eve of Frankie's wedding weekend, and she doesn't know where they stand or even if George will show up as her best man. Then, at the start of the festivities, in walks George. For one glorious evening, surrounded by her loved ones, Frankie's life is finally perfect, but it all comes crashing down when her fiancé dumps her the next morning, leaving only a note as an explanation. Sounds juicy. Add to cart. The last book is Every Version of You. This says, Joey's life is the definition of good on paper. At 32, she's a Los Angeles lawyer on the cusp of making partner. But while she's a professional success, she's a personal disaster. Her social life mostly consists of nights spent watching TV with her elderly cat. Life isn't quite what she dreamed when she was younger, but really, whose life is? True. But a dinner party with her best friend she secretly pined after for years, and its aftermath changes everything. When Joey is given a second chance at life, she finds herself in college again, armed with memories from her first life. Joey is certain she's come back to finally convince the one man she ever loved, to love her back. So why does she find herself strangely drawn to the man she thought she hated? This one seems interesting. It's like a go back in time. Looks like Reese Witherspoon already picked this one up before it's even come out. So that concludes today's video of some of my most anticipated releases for 2026, my reading goals for the year, and some of the books that are going to be on my TBR and that you'll hopefully see in some reading vlogs to come. Thank you for listening to my stumbling and mumbling reading. Sorry I was tripping up. I was a little nervous, but we got through. And I'll see you the next time I'm reading. Thank you for watching.